You say that so matter-of-factly.
Yep. And now we move on to our aspiration. Alright, Lily. Deal with the owl situation as a plus. Eliminate those using werewolf blood as a plus. And form a pack has no pluses in it. Do you want to change any of your aspirations?
Wait,
Doesn't seem like I can form a pack with the Evercon.
He is currently already in a pack. Although there is the lovely lady of interest as well who's into you. Yeah, no, there was other stuff. I just wanted to be facetious and silly.
Can't have a two-person pack.
It's true, you know. Although if you got her to agree, that would be a plus, I suppose, because she'd be partway there to completing it. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I thought that had already happened.
She hasn't actually brought it up.
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I should have brought her into the token pool. Why didn't I do that? I'm an idiot. I suppose I just answered my question.
Ah.
That was it, ill fair.
I'll keep it as is for now.
Okay. Supposed to post a token. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? Alright, Mazendi, we've got that wonderful classic, finding a priest for St. Mary's Church and befriending them. It's still got a plus. Have you invented their response for you yet? Because the onus is still mildly on you.
Right. Yes, I have to do that. I haven't done it.
That's fine. We've got a plus in Wipe San Pasado free of the Strix and a plus in Advance in the Covenant's favor. Would you like to change any of your aspirations?
No, I'm reasonably happy with them. I'll make a note about inventing a response from the priests.
Okay. Alright, Stray, we have Find a Worm's Den for the Defiant, no points. Find a Skilled Human to Ghoul, no points. And an Empty Aspiration. Would you like to change either of those two, and what would you like your third aspiration to be?
I don't want to change those two, but I'm adding Discover Forgotten Lore of the Bakra for Herrera as my third.
Okay.
Also, I would like to make a case for Claire getting a Dot of Humanity. Because last session she, like on a moral stance, refused to use Auspex on her sister to try to, sway her to her side, and didn't try to, ghoulify her in, in a slippery, underhanded way like she could have, which is upholding morals, which.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's a very good case. Likewise, this interaction was with a touchstone who tend to be your ties to humanity. Yes, you know what? I will give you that Dot of Humanity. It was a very human thing of you to do.
Woohoo!
Alright, and then Joseph Hannah, you got Connect with Car and Become Friends. It's got a plus. You need to obviously spend more time and make that friendship an obvious thing. Set up surveillance on a kindred member of the party, no pluses in it, and gain the trust of at least a single kindred, no pluses in it. Would you like to change any of your aspirations?
I think I would want to change some of my aspirations.
Sure.
Or I guess just one.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna change that friendship, getting a friendship with Kara to doing well in the hunt.
Okay, yeah, if you would like to. I will add that that's one you've... I see that that's one you have got a plus beat in it already, and you would be giving that up to change it. Whereas succeeding in that hunt might very well be a way that you two become friends. And you can still absolutely do it, it's just a warning there that you might be wasting some potential experience points.
If I already have a plus in it, I'll probably leave it alone for now. Let's see, surveillance, trust of a kindred. I think a few of these are kind of analogous. If I do well in the hunt, I might gain the trust of some kindred. Gaining.
Depends what the hunt is for. That's more Bork related than Leech related.
Hunt for the Strix.
Oh yeah, I suppose actually yes, it is the hunt for the Strix. So no, I would give you that. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and change gaining the trust of a kindred / becoming friends to simply just doing well in the hunt there. I feel like that's more appropriate.
Sure. I'll word it so that it's a more goal oriented. So be successful and useful in the hunt. Because the wording was a bit too like open ended and hard for me to score. So we go.
I'll take that.
Yep. So we have connect with Kara, become friends with a plus, set up surveillance on a kindred member of the party, and be successful and useful in the hunt. All good? Alright then.
All good, Chi. Sorry, I forgot that my push to talk doesn't work in another tab.
Oh, okay. It's fine. Grand then. So yes, there were other things that happened indeed. Claire reunited with a touchstone at last. Let's see here. I can't remember when you got that aspiration, but you had it for a long old time. It was ever since you scored Find My Book. Which was fucking God knows how long ago that was. You finally scored
Almost
that.
a year ago at this point.
Yep, you did it. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Sorry.
And offered the embrace to her, and or
Not
ghouling.
the embrace.
No, sorry, yes, you offered ghouling.
Eventually embrace, but for now just ghouling, especially wrapped up in like, well, on top of all the other advantages, no vampire would attack you because attacking you would be attacking me, and attacking me would be attacking the order.
Yep.
Until you make an enemy.
Yeah, in which case they become a liability to harm through you.
Yeah, oh well.
Yeah, oh well. It's
Well,
to be fair,
that's-
Claire is of the group that is not politically maneuvering, so it's unlikely I'll go out of my way to hurt her unless she pisses someone off.
Yeah, well, and the Defiant in general just aren't political.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah, they can be, but generally, nah. Like, Ordo Prince is almost unheard of. I read all the Order Dracul books because I like that covenant. Also started reading
interesting.
the Crone one. I like that one.
I really do like the crones. I wanted to try and trick Rose into becoming a crone.
Yeah. Did they? Does anyone know if they actually made like Malkavians a bloodline or not?
I don't remember if I don't think Malk is a bloodline in this. They're just an
There-
illness.
The bloodline. Yeah.
There's Malkovian the bloodline, which it's cheap Malkavian knockoff. But then in the Venture book, they introduced a sickness
That's the one I'm
called
thinking
the
of.
Malkavian sickness.
That's right, yes.
Which any vampire can get, though Venture are more susceptible to it.
That
And
was-
it makes them go mad.
Though I don't think I actually want to play one of those because I already basically play a Malkavian in Borks.
Yes, that's right. That was what that's what mixed me up. The difference between Malkovian and Malkavian. Malkavian is the original one and is an illness in the new system, and Malkovian is just the new bloodline of lunatics, which is fun.
Knockoff.
Malkavian clan is fucking fun to play in that game. Third was right.
Stop!
It's an amazing game.
No, you stop. No, you stop.
You just have
Just
crazies
yelling
at
at-
yourself.
Well, yeah, yelling at a fucking stop sign.
Excellent, just excellent. Yeah, I still have yet to actually play VTM myself. I'll get around to it at some point.
It is very good. Third was right.
Oh yeah,
Recently
no,
bought it for my birthday, and I've been playing it for like since my birthday.
very nice.
There you go.
German mafia, huh? Go away, Photoshop thing. Okay, you just agree with the stop sign. Alright, sure. Sure thing, stop sign, whatever you say. It is bright and red under stop sign. I just remember Stray being salty that the best sword is a samurai sword, even though we all know that that's why they're the best weapons.
I mean,
eventually have to get it because it deals aggravated damage, but it still pisses me off.
the equipment and like gear choices and all that are kind of iffy, but
Great game.
especially if you're fucking Malkavian or Nosferatu, the gear choices. Like as a Malkavian, you just become a stripper,
Yeah. Yep.
and all the Nosferatu stuff is like BDSM gear.
Also, yeah.
But right now, I'm just enjoying the level I'm at because I'm literally axe crazy, in that I'm running around as a Malkavian with a fire axe.
That's the best one. Until you have the limb.
Oh yeah, I use that. That you can get that pretty early on.
That's the best weapon for Malkavian.
You're just beating someone to death with that fucking arm.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, nerds. I have a lot to do today, so let's get on with the game. Let's get on with our imaginary game, you fucking dorks. So, when last we left off, a bunch of people got their life shit on. They handled the hell out of that. Timothy, I believe, was asked to come by the Elysium when able to have a conversation with the bartender about this recent Strix stealing.
Before the end of the day. But
Yep.
also, my car now has no roof and there are cleaners coming, so I'm probably just gonna ride back with them.
Yeah, and Herrera was like, "Yeah, I want to keep going. I want to go hunting tonight." And we were just about to do that when Tim called. She dropped me off, and then literally 5 minutes later, I got in a taxi to meet up at home. So she's gonna like step in the door, and 5 minutes later, Claire's just gonna burst in.
Nice. Let's start with that then.
Oh, with me? Huh?
Yeah, sure.
As soon as I was gonna make a drink.
Too
monster.
bad. Well, if you would like to go get your drink on, I can shamble through other people's meaningless lives.
Yeah.
Alright.
I want to go do that real quick.
Okay then. Alright. So, Kara, contact was made with you, and there was an offer to do some joint hunting with Hannah for these owl things. The question is, where are you going to meet them up with them again? I believe you've got their numbers, respectively. And it's now night. It is their time to be about.
Did they not give me a place?
I don't believe you gave. I don't know, Mers, did Timothy or anyone give Kara like a re-meeting place?
No, we did contact details, but when we split up, we were sort of in a bit of a rush, and none of us actually did that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I will text where you at.
But who do you text, by the way? Because you also have the Countess's phone number.
Group chat. I'll ask where we meeting.
Alright then. At the very least, a minute will pass, and then like a really properly written out sentence from the Countess will turn up. Along the lines of, would this be the werewolf who accompanied us before? How wonderful! I was excited to get on with our continued hunt for these foul Strix. My handmaidens, on the other hand, I have them chasing up some other rogue factions of the vampires who dared assault me previously. It may very well be I will call upon you again in order to make sure that their elder and his minions get destroyed in a most painful way. And then there's a smiley face put in, like an emoji with kitty ears.
Hmm.
I'm back.
Hello back.
I will text back. Where we meeting?
In a response from the Countess, she says, I believe that is a matter for either Claire or Mr. Lee to decide upon. as they are more familiar with this area than I myself am, and will also know more likely where the Strix are congregating right now. Gonna add this is all appearing in a group chat, Stray, so you see this conversation too between Kara and the Countess.
All right. So what did I hear? I was pulling up changing my Google Doc sheet for Claire.
That's fine. Effectively, Kara's asking where to meet up. It's time to go hunting again.
How late is it at night?
It's been like a couple hours. You guys haven't been awake for massively long. You went for a meal with Aurora, so you went for breakfast, and then you like roughly brunch time. You gave your sister the vapors and had to wait for another hour. I would say it's like early to mid, like just noon to you guys. About 11 at night.
I assume Tim's here too. Did he say anything yet?
Not yet.
All right. I guess I'll just have like seen this on the taxi back home.
Sure.
All right. Claire's gonna text back that she's going to be busy for at least the next hour or so, but perhaps a neutral ground away from the. I actually forget. Do we actually know where we're going to hunt Strix?
No.
Okay. Well, we knew where one was. Anyways,
Yeah.
she'd suggest that Timothy, with being Invictus and his knowledge of different areas where different people and barons hold sway, that he could probably find a good neutral area between the pack and the Kindred.
And then Tim will text him. Yes. I too have some business that will occupy me for a little while. Perhaps if we meet at the Full Sail Club near to the city's main bridge, it would be efficient for all.
Full Sail is a university, not a club.
Is it?
Yeah.
It doesn't have university written on it.
You're right. Sorry. Yes. No. Full Sail is a university.
Perhaps if we meet at the visitors outside the visitors center for Full Sail University,
There you
that
go.
is roughly equidistant for everyone and convenient. No?
I agree. I'll see you then. Also, I was looking up stuff just like before the session. I've been reading up on books. I didn't realize that Bakra not only get Majesty but also Celerity.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dope. And I actually forgot that I get Dominate.
Yeah, and I mean baklava is delicious, so there's also that going for them.
You get Dominate?
Yep. Agonistes get Dominate because it's one of the disciplines, because aside from being the people that research and keep the history of the Kindred, the Agonistes have a discipline where they combine Auspex and Dominate to like trap an elder's memory while they're in torpor, so it doesn't, and so it doesn't like deteriorate over time.
Crazy.
Yeah. And Agonistes are the only ones that actually don't suffer nightmares when they're in torpor either.
They don't get spooked
However,
on.
However, all Agonistes secretly yearn for the final death, which is one of Claire's things, is the reason why she's so fervent in like trying to conquer the sun and stuff like that, because her own impulses horrify her, so she's basically ran in the opposite direction. It's like, whenever you're standing on a cliff and you look down, you really want to jump, and thus you never go up anywhere high again.
Yeah, no, I can understand that one. It's an interesting way to look at it, and I approve. So yes, alright then. You've been given a little gathering place. The Countessa will make her way up from the Elysium herself. Timothy, what is it that you're going to be doing?
Oh shit, we're still working with a countess?
Yeah. You guys are her
I thought she just
escorts
got
so that
bored.
she has a good time. And she decided that nothing sounds more fun than murdering the shit out of some Strix.
Oh yeah, all we've done is just kill one of our kind and stop her from being Diablerized.
Yep. As far as like city guides go, you've done a pretty shit job thus far. Sure, we can go have some fun. By the way, here's a movie. Oh, sorry, one of our friends betrayed you.
Nope.
An hour later too,
Yeah.
it was great.
You guys gave Carr a real good impression of vampires.
Yeah, I mean, also you've gotten a really, really bad like star rating on TripAdvisor now.
So yeah, Tim is first going to wait for weaklings to turn up. He really can't leave this scene unsupervised.
Very smart. It only takes them about 15 minutes to turn up. The requisite... This one isn't a white panel van. It is a grey one for literally like a cleaning company. And they will pile out. It looks like 3 of them. One appears to be perpetually cursed with having been turned while he was balding. Which means he will forever and eternally be balding. And there is a moderately poorly fellow and a skinny, tired-looking woman who seems actually quite fresh to the whole vampire thing. It would be Captain Balding who goes up to you first, Timothy. Alright, what are we looking at here, then? It looks like this place has already been seen to once before.
Yes, well... have you been appraised as to the ongoing situation by the lady bartender?
Not officially. Most of us have, we're aware, but not officially. So, let's skip that question so none of us hears what we want to hear.
Alright. I was assaulted unofficially by one of them, officially by whatever the hell you want to put in your reports. Perhaps a Jacobin. Yes, I was assaulted by a Jacobin.
Okay. Like, narrows his eyes and then shrugs. Alright, fine.
Here's the body. I brought it behind the dumpster, so it wouldn't be photographed when everything that was stopping it from being photographed left it.
That's a very good idea right there. Alright, we'll take a look. And he'll walk around. The other 2 will get out a surprisingly sophisticated looking box of equipment and start like re-sweeping up things like shattered glass and crumpled bits and pieces that had been there before. One of them actually goes and fetches from their van like different sized bricks to make it look like they'd been thrown at the roof of that car. And then they will like, dent it again and then artfully place the brick there so it just looks like it got hucked really hard. Like, make it look like normal person vandalism. And so whilst they're busy, essentially marking up the scene, the balding fellow will go around the back. Sweet shit. You said you got assaulted by one of them. I didn't know you'd literally killed it back yourself. That's impressive.
The alternative was to die, I think.
I think you've picked the right choice then, as opposed to death. Yeah, sure. Well, we've got the rest of this under control unless you really want to hang around. I'm essentially going to be grabbing a body bag, cleaning up any signs, and we'll get a little bit of a forensics wipe down since this was already a crime scene once. We kind of want to make it look like just your everyday still just a crime scene.
Alright. I'll head around the block, call a cab.
If you do want to hang around, I mean, we can just drop you off whenever we're, leaving. We'll only be about 30 minutes.
Yes, that'll be time. Would certainly take longer than that for a hansom to arrive in this city.
Yeah, probably. Alright, yeah, go make yourself cozy. Don't mind, Sella, she's a new girl.
Oh dear. What did she do to get stuck with this assignment?
She was the new girl. There's not much else to say about it. I mean, maybe she'll maneuver herself politically and end up in a nice cozy position like yourself, but she has to start at the bottom like the most of us. And he'll give you a toothy grin.
Tim will return it. Then head in and settle in the van.
Yep. It's comfortable enough, as you would expect. The heating or anything isn't on, so it's, you know, nothing's steaming up as well because you aren't generating any heat. It's sort of like just climbing into a fridge. All things considered, probably not the worst thing, considering soon it will be carrying a body. Yeah. Has Timothy ever sat around and watched, you know, the cleaners do their job?
His sire probably, in the few bits of training that Tim was given, dragged him along to just familiarize him a little with it.
Sure. Can you give me then a wits composure roll?
Sure. Any modifiers?
Not that I can think of.
Alright, I'll have one success.
Okay. From the look of it, as they're like going about their job, the young, tired girl-looking one, keeps just something that she's doing is just not quite correct. Every time that, you know, like they place a bit of something artistically, she seems distracted. She is admittedly new to the job, and she looks exceptionally squeamish when the body is bagged up and hauled into the van, but there's something about her not quite right.
Oh, Tim is seeing that going to slink out and approach very quietly till he's just leaning over, and then very carefully reach out with his beast to get a proper measure of her.
Alright. Let's see here. Will hers try and clash? What kind of beast are you reaching out with in general? Because it's always how that goes.
Not lashing out, just making contact.
Okay, are you trying to do so subtly?
Yes.
Alright then. Would you like to recommend then skills that you're using to be subtle? Because it will be against those that I will be testing her ability to detect it.
So lashing out is normally a power and a blood potency. Maybe
Correct.
this, just reaching out subtly, could be a finesse and blood potency.
Sure, I'll give you that. I will also give you your... Have you got... Oh yeah, your dot in stealth. Feel free to pick a finesse. I'm gonna assume it's wits, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Are you going to... And this is a thing that...
it would either be wits or manipulation, and I would always choose.
You would obviously choose the one you got
Two.
2 more dots in, yes. And
Yeah.
now I'm going to offer you a choice. Do you include your dot of shadow potency or not? When you start reaching out with the beast, you can feel it there, like this extra, just like a pool of potential in you.
So can I just have a minute to, take my food off the heat?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
It's
Yeah.
already been cooking 5 minutes longer than I wanted it to.
No worries. Then we shall swoosh on over. Claire. where are you going to head to next with Aurora before meeting up at the Full Sail Visitor Center with the Countess Kara
Well,
and presumably as well Joseph?
well, Herrera wanted to go somewhere, and Claire didn't know what that was. She just returns like 5 minutes later after apparently Herrera thought it was going to take longer, so she just dropped her off and just like, all right, yeah, I'm back. So, and I'm just gonna look around. Are there any ghouls around?
She's got two of them around with her now. One of them is dressed in like a ball gown, and the other one is in a very finely cut together suit.
Uh, come into the bedroom for a minute. I have something to talk to you about.
Very well. She'll follow along. And you can see that she is also very quickly changed into. You've probably seen it before. It's like a dancing dress. It's got the cut slit to allow for proper leg movement, and it's got that typical like ancient Egypt appearance to it, where she's got a little bit of gold filigree and some nice jewelry on.
Oh yeah, like Claire's entire apartment has slowly started to look like an Egyptian tomb.
Yeah, and she does have that effect on places where she's at. Don't worry, in the new year she'll have her own like new mansion.
Claire didn't really bother decorating. Anyways, so Herrera, I know you don't know too much of the Strix, but have you ever heard of someone devouring one?
She scoffs. You mean as in Diablerize?
Exactly.
No, I can't say that I've ever heard of anyone doing something like that.
Well, that thing you dropped me out for, Timmy has literally diablerized the Strix and now has a measure of its power.
That's so exciting! And actually quite terrifying thinking about it. Of course, he was, a Kaibit, yes?
Kaibit, yes.
I mean, that makes a ridiculous amount of sense. Did he seem strange at all to you?
Aside from being ecstatic at his victory, spent quite a bit of time laughing, but I think that just might be from his incredulity at actually being able to do what he did.
Oh yes, it's, not that you heard it from me, but it's quite a rush. She'll smirk. You can see just a hint of her teeth.
Well, at least you remember a little bit from your Fog of Ages, at least.
Think of them as large, bright points that stick out of that, quite literal fog. That's definitely one that's going to stand out, and probably forever. In some cases, I regret it, because Torpor filled nothing with the endless memories of not only your own, but their nightmares too, is considerably unpleasant.
I imagine sleeping for 4,000 years would be unpleasant anyways. I think we've had this conversation before.
Many a time. So yes, you were saying, he diablerized a Strix then? A being of shadow?
Yes, and that he only wanted to keep it between myself and you, of course, but he ate a shadow spirit.
And were you able to detect anything in his aura?
Yeah, he have I ever told? Well, if you can remember what the Kaibit are able to do, right? Shadow sorcery.
Correct, yes. They wield it much like a tool, a weapon, or, I suppose, an image, an idea.
I've used my sight on him when he's been using that before, and it appears now his aura is constant. His aura appears that he's constantly using shadow magic.
Interesting. I suppose that makes for a rather apt disguise, but still he should be careful. I'm sure you're aware that diablerie in itself leaves very obvious signs on one's aura. I suspect that to one more in tune with how the shadow operates, they would be able to see things that you yourself, or indeed even I, might not be able to.
True, but he did not violate any of our laws.
Not the word of them. But intention and word are two different things. That is an excuse that stands in the political maneuvering. And she'll wave her fingers offhandedly.
That is your field, not mine.
Of course, I know. I'm merely breezing over it. Let it be known, though, that using such things are, they're just excuses. As likely as he did not betray the word of that oath, and so no one could immediately go after him for such a thing, it doesn't mean that no one could Vane give him trouble. They could very simply just say, you have committed diablerie, and start the fight from there.
Well, then where would we put the point of diablerie? Eating a human unto death?
Well, we don't tend to drink their souls.
Then who cares? They're owls. We don't like them. They're the enemy.
So, most people diablerize people they don't like either.
But even so, I don't really understand it much. If they are enemies of Kindred in general, then I don't see why it's a problem. But that's probably for spheres I do not travel in to argue about.
Understandable. Now, but however, Claire, I must say this. Please pay him the greatest attention that you can. Diablerie leaves a weight on one's psyche. You see things and hear things that are either real or not, so honestly I don't remember enough about it myself. It could very well just be one's imagination, or just imprints memories come back to trouble you after the fact. But he's diablerized a very powerful source of just sheer hatred for our kind. That's dangerous. So be careful that he doesn't slip. It's not an easy trip.
I will keep that in mind. In any event, was the place we're going out to black tie? Do I need a change?
We're going out dancing. There is a blues bar that's just opened nearby.
Right. I'll go put on that thing you like. Be right back.
Seems very pleased with herself. Alright, and then back to Mounds. You wanted to stealthily assess this woman with your beast.
Mhm.
Now, did you want to include your shadow potency or not in this equation? It would be an extra dot, although you don't know what will happen.
No, no. If I feel if I used it, it would be detected quite readily, and that is a reveal best left until the time is right.
Yep. So yeah, you have to when you reach deep into essentially what is your blood potency, your essence and being, you can feel that like tightly wound sphere of shadowy potential, and you just sort of quash it to the side before you continue sneaking out. And yeah, make your roll. Wit, stealth, blood potency. Jesus Christ. Alright then, let's see how she does. She is fledgling tier, so let's just go.
Also,
Oh, okay.
2 more successes and a 10.
Yep, if you want to roll them all. Okay.
Okay.
So 3 successes. Alright, I have to beat 3 successes with a fledgling. Now, she does have stealth herself, but she's rolling essentially like the reverses to your attributes. So you used wits, she is going to go with resolve. Use stealth, she is going to go with expression, I suppose. Resolve, expression, and her blood potency. God, the poor girl. No successes. Alright, you are able to glean her exactly. Ask me a question.
Is she acting intentionally badly?
she is not doing so intentionally. You can tell that much. You can tell that she is concerned about something.
Then Tim will lean down and whisper, "Come, girl. What troubles you?
You get like partway
Surely
into
this is
come.
not your very first assignment." Tim is just gonna keep talking as she freaks out.
Yeah, no. It's momentarily difficult because the moment you start with "come, girl," you're like leant over. She like leaps up and fucking nuts you in the chin. You manage to carefully avoid that. She gets herself back under control. I have no idea what you're talking about. And no, this isn't my first time cleaning. I've done this a few times now.
Really? Then, tell me Regulation State C for that, and Tim will point at one of the things she screwed up.
She narrows her eyebrows. There was no state C.
Yes, actually, there is.
There was an appendix. That, oh shit, I've done it wrong. And she'll just grumble and... Yeah, she looked for a moment smug when she was like, there's no parts. Oh shit, fuck, there was an appendix. Alright, fine. And she goes off to go and, resolve something she cocked up. Didn't make it look like a violent enough crime again. There we go. And she just essentially does a little bit of damage nearby the car that just looks like someone had done so while they were... It starts to paint more of a picture of someone having, like, made, drunk, angry mistakes as opposed to on-purpose vandalism. Thanks for spotting that. Much appreciated. I'd have totally gotten chewed out otherwise.
So why aren't you focusing? Why didn't you spot her yourself?
She looks you up and down and appears to consider lying, but realizes it's very much not worth the trouble. There's someone out there at the moment, and I don't know. You ever get the feeling that someone is just, in fact, I suppose quite correct, watching you, just waiting for you to make a mistake?
Such is a life.
Of course, but, more literal than that.
Oh no, I mean that quite literally.
Oh, fair enough. There is this person called Le Fantôme, and she does like a little mysterious hand wiggly shit as though she thinks that it's a fucking stupid name. But, they've been messing around, like, just if people do weird, mysterious shit at night, they tend to get troubled by them. And, I mean, we look like we're doing weird, mysterious shit, because we kind of are. Admittedly, we're not doing actual crimes, we're faking crimes, but, if we're doing our job right, it looks like we're doing crimes. At that, like, another one of the minders will speak up and go, "Talking about crazy shit again, Sella. Just get on with your job so we can move on." Then she'll look abashedly at you, Timothy, and go, is that all?
Yes. Just do focus. If La Fantoma proves to be a problem, it will be disposed of. Have no doubt of it.
Very reassuring. She still looks uncomfortable at the idea, moderately squeamish, but returns to doing her duty. Another couple of minutes pass, and they're able to get you piled into the van and on the way. Sella, as the one who did the least good job, gets bitch seat in the back of the van with the corpse. And eventually you are dropped off. They're headed to the Elysium, so they just essentially drop you off on the bridge side to full sail and continue on their way.
I know, I want to head to Elysium first.
Oh, okay, in which case they take you the whole way. Hooray!
Weren't we using the mystery machine for Claire?
You did give me control of token for it, but I don't care.
Fucking, I don't know. I need more vehicles.
I don't really care. It's fine.
I was like the murder ice cream van.
Oh yeah, you were the ice cream truck from hell. Let's see here. Where is that Blues Club meant to be? Right there. Anyone want to make up a name for the Blues Club?
The Torch.
Done.
It's the name of my favorite blues club. I haven't been there in months, though.
Oh, geez, size 40 font. It's as important as whether you're an upper or middle class. It's called The Torch. Very loudly. No, there we go. Alright. Yep. And when you are taken there by Aurora, you can see that it is a semi-recently renovated building. 1 floor in height, quite large though. At least broad along the way. It used to apparently be like a children's after-school club thing, but the school around here was closed. That's moved on to another part of the city. So they just had the whole thing renovated into essentially like, it looks like a gigantic lounge. So you've got an open dancing floor in the center, lots of low light theme, which is quite pleasant for most Kindred in all senses. It's not a brightly lit location. There is a very, very large and ostentatious grand piano, and a the really, really classic style, you know, the standing orchestra bits. So they got the three sets of stands there. And there are very attractive waiters and waitresses walking around with platters of wine.
Excellent. Claire's just gonna follow Aurora in.
It is a very, very classy location, and you're glad you've changed. Let's put it that way, because everyone here is dressed in their like fanciest, you know, era of the blues style dancing gowns and suits. Like it's always a 3-button suit, and it's always like something sleek and black, and it's got a little bit of I forget what they're called. You know, like they look like little pearled circles threaded through. I can't remember the fucking name of them now.
I know what you're talking about. Can't remember the name. You passed it to me.
Oh well, that's gonna bother me.
Ah well, you did this to us both.
Yep. I want one, damn it. The Invictus' secret lair is the torch. I wouldn't be surprised. It's so fucking classy. And yeah, it is a very nice new location. There are a number of like booths up against the wall, but there isn't much sitting space. It's mostly standing seats. Unless you happen to get, you know, one of their VIP booths, which is right between the piano and the dance floor, right next to the standing orchestra. And as you would expect, Aurora has them VIP seats, so you, her, and the 2 ghouls will grab yourselves a chair and have yourselves a lovely time. She intends to keep you there for a couple of hours, but, you know, is aware that you have other shit to go do, so when you have to leave, she'll inform you that, don't worry about that, she'll bring back someone interesting for you later.
Alright. She'll stay for as long as she feels she can. She likes Aurora more than, you know, the other people she knows. So.
She likes Aurora more than, you know, people.
I assume that this is one of the few moments where Aurora always insists that blush of life and drinks. So
absolutely, yeah, she's thoroughly blushed up.
So literally the only time colors. So I'm gonna mark off a point of vitae.
Mm-hmm. I mean, before you leave, you might be able to sneak a light snack off a dancer.
Yeah, Probably.
If you want to give me a skill check, you're welcome to do so before meeting up with your companions.
Skill check. Presence. This would probably be like a presence check. I can't finagle that into like intelligence, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it's you're picking up a little bit of quick strange on the dance floor. That's not really an intelligence maneuver.
Presence and empathy.
All right, sure.
Or,
Yeah, empathy or expression.
I have more dots than the other one, so
Do that one then. All right, yeah, you gain Arvite.
woohoo! And now, for the next 24 hours, I look human and smell human now.
Yep. That's going to be an interesting one when you all gather up.
Yep. So, like right after, she's going to excuse herself from the torch and take a cab. And then apparently, arrive at the meeting place in like the slinky dress that Aurora likes and smelling human. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. All right then. So we will quickly scoop over to the Elysium. Timmy, what up?
So two important female elders that I have to meet tonight. Let's do the dragon first.
Alrighty.
So I did last night attempt to secure a meeting with the Voivode of the Ordo Dracul for today. So
All right then. What are they like?
I mean, we've already met her.
Oh,
It's
of course.
Sire.
Yes, of course. Yes, Claire Sire. I have to try and remember which of the voices. It's just one of the soft-spoken female ones. She is stood with a collection of people making conversation with her, but once she spots you, she will wave them off, insisting that her time is spoken for at this moment, and then wave you over. Mr. Lee.
Tim will approach, bow deeply, approach conversation distance, give a half bow, and then say, Lady Elder,
Yes.
a thousandfold thanks for making the time to speak with me.
It has been an interesting time, and a familiar face is a little bit more refreshing than the current sycophants I've been dealing with. And please, call me Milady Frost as opposed to Milady Elder. It makes me feel old, and she will give you a grin.
Well, Milady Frost, you have perhaps heard that your counterpart in the Carthian movement, he has demonstrated a remarkable lack of control over his followers, to the extent that we, the First Estate, have been forced to crack down on these rogue Carthians.
Yes, I'm aware of the situation. A few elders were quite the abuzz about the whole thing.
There are certain matters that these rogues were involved in that we believe may be of interest to you, Lady Frost. First and foremost, as your child Rokencourt may have told you, they attempted and nearly succeeded a form of diablerie over distance.
Yes, I've had a few of my members looking into a number of books for me about the whole matter. Did you have more information about it, or were you hoping that I had already uncovered something?
I had hoped that you might have something to share, Lady Frost, but
As it's...
there is
Yes, as it stands, a lot of the evidence that might have been used to come back to this matter with was destroyed by fire. From what we could tell, though, it appears that it was a ritual site organized, a specially prepared room, as you will, and those take a significant period of time to construct in the first place. Although I have no doubt, due to the timing, that Milady Avelina's diablerie was very spur of the moment, their preparations, it would stand to reason, were far more long term.
I see. Thanks, Lady Frost. But there is a little more, something material that the Order of the Dragon might wish to possess. We found in our raid that these Carthians, not only did they possess the ability to consume a soul, but to entrap it. And Tim will pull one of the ribbons out from his jacket pocket. This, Milady Frost, is constructed from human souls.
How
Through
very
woven,
exciting!
conjoined.
Yeah, she will all but snatch it from your hands. Her eyes are alight with almost childlike curiosity at such a thing. I do so love to see things I've not seen before.
On behalf of the First Estate, it is my great pleasure to present 2 such of these ribbons to you, to study and understand as you see fit. And he will then hand over a second.
You have done most well. I shall be sure that your lady is made aware. She seems quite pleased, looking over them already. A number of other elders, like once it seems that the conversation has started to die down, like they obviously want to reinstate their conversation, but she all but fucking shushes them away. Like, I have things to look at now. Is there... Oh, sorry, of course, how very rude of me, Timothy. Is there anything else that you wished to know or had uncovered?
No, Lady Frost. Only that, should you uncover some of the secrets of these ribbons, you might consider to share them with myself.
Knowledge acquired only for oneself is a bit of a waste, all things considered. And she will grin. At the very least, I will make sure that Claire is abreast of the matter. It is very likely that she will pass this information directly on to you. Let us see here. At a cursory glance, it's almost a... It reminds me very much of a fetish. Not, of course, the sexual variety, but the kind that, shamans and mystics might put together. How very wonderfully curious.
Indeed, milady. I believe that was, in fact, the exact term that the wolves accompanying us on that raid used. They likewise fell victim to these rogue Carthians and agreed to lend their aid in their destruction.
She pauses and raises a slow eyebrow. You spoke with wolves, and they... I take it, although they recognized this then, they did not claim ownership? This isn't actually... This was produced by the Carthians and not them, yes?
Indeed, milady.
Oh, how delightful.
There was one thing that they did claim, or more accurately, milady claimed them. A sword bound by one of these ribbons to a spirit. I had thought to bring that here, but no. As soon as one of the wolves took it, it fused to them.
Physically or metaphysically?
I know not which. 'Tis not my specialty.
Fair enough. No, I suspect, trying to take a sword from a wolf is not what one would consider a smart plan by any means. And she seems relatively amused at the prospect. And yes, she did know about that there were wolves, but she didn't know that wolves knew about these objects.
To be fair, Claire didn't know about these objects. She was completely out of it.
That's also true. She was higher than Giraffe Pussy.
Yeah. Also, telling Antoinette about this in the middle of the Elysium, it's politics.
It absolutely is. How delightful.
I'm gonna score at least one aspiration today, I hope.
Woohoo!
Yep.
Yes.
Alright then.
If she doesn't have anything else, then Tim will say in appropriate ritualistic goodbyes and head over towards the bartender.
Excellent. And yes, Antoinette, as opposed to allowing herself to be drawn back into a fold of the elders and their conversations, politely excuses herself, abducts one of her other less fortunate child, and says, "You speak with them. I can see if they say anything interesting. I'm going to go look at magic things," and just departs.
What are they called? Our princeps? Is that what they're called? Hey, third.
What do you want, Stray? I might know too.
For well, this was a fluff question. That's why I asked. For like different clans in first edition, I know that those who advise a prince, there was always a first among the clans who would be like, I think they were called princeps. Is that still a thing in second edition? But instead of clans, covenants.
Primogen.
Primogen. There we go. That's still a thing in second edition. Do you know third?
Fucking.
I don't know about second edition.
What was their exact role?
Basically, they're the most experienced and elected the officials for like the politics of a clan. So there would be one primogen for each clan, and I'm not sure if there was the same thing for covenants now, since clans are almost, if you're of the same clan, you can still like go out and out war against each other and be part of different covenants. Like Timmy and Claire, same clan.
Totally fucking different. Yes. They probably have equivalents that aren't called the same thing, and if they do exist, then I haven't brought attention to them yet. So they exist in that nebulous, like, fucking the box of whether you observe them or not. This is Schrodinger's Primogen. Ah, here we go.
Vampire the Requiem.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Oh, they're
Right,
Covenant leaders. Okay, so I mean, technically, these elders would be Primogens themselves.
But Claire is the child of the Defiant Primogen. But I was wondering if there was still if who she was talking to was the other Primogen.
Yeah, the person, she just descended, like, no, the Antoinette Frost herself is a Primogen, and she just has an underling. She just, like, you talk to them for a while, I've got more interesting things to do.
And specifically, if the bartender was the Primogen of the Invictus or the sheriff of the prince.
She's more like Prince, she's Prince Regent, she would usually be a Primogen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, right now she is Prince Regent because the prince is in torpor, but he has enough political sway and departed on strong enough terms that no one's going to fuck with that unhoused chair. So the bartender's been left largely alone because also undermining her would be seen as poor game because she is not as prepared as her master.
So we just haven't met the sheriff then?
What's the sheriff explicitly labeled as?
The sheriff is the one who is basically the think the Emperor's Wrath.
Oh, okay. You've never met the sheriff then, in that case. The sheriff's a stone cold motherfucker, and has a reputation.
It's
but, yeah.
basically the one who keeps the 3 laws to make sure everyone's following them and everyone keeping the masquerade, while the prince is like the magistrate.
Yeah. They're the big Billy Big Balls of bruising
Yeah.
people up if they do the wrong thing. That's fine. Continuing on anyway.
Sorry, I just was wondering where we actually stood with the bartender.
Yep. Bartender would usually be a Primogen. At the moment, she is Prince Regent.
All right, cool. Sorry about that. Carry on.
Yep. Speaking of, she will note your arrival, Timothy, and you can actually feel her beast like gently crawl over you as she gives you a proper looking over, before she seems satisfied with what she sees. Why, Timothy, you seem to have grown into yourself.
Indeed, mistress. And avoided possession.
Yes, that, as you no doubt are aware, was exactly what I was checking for. I wasn't aware you had the power to deal with one of them on their own. I assume this was quite a young Strix.
Ah. Well, mistress. Young, old, they are similar in the Strix of weak power, let us say that.
Very well, very well. I can't help but notice the Countess is excited to be underway joining you on this little, what she has now dubbed it, a hunter hunt. Which is very interesting of a term. I'm a little annoyed that she's involved at all, but there's little I can do about it. And indeed, like, you can see her eyes turn away and stood not far from the door and in a conversation with, like, a titanically huge man, like, probably 6'8", like a stone cold slab of monstrosity. You would assume a Nosferatu, although he's dressed in what essentially is a like a dress shirt and pants and some nice shoes. He hasn't got any tie or jacket or anything on because he's just so fucking large. And him talking to the Countess is almost comical in their differences, but she seems impatient to be leaving.
Indeed, mistress. Had I... Well, knowing what Dante would turn out to be, there are many things I would have done differently now, but... Qui sera, sera.
Gesundheit, she smirks.
Forgive me, the more modern languages have never been my specialty.
No, I understand your meaning. You have found some way then to deal with them more specifically. I assume this then would have prevented the unfortunate situation with the Alti fellow.
Had I but known, yes. But alas, my dear sire saw fit to equip me with the idea to run. He is gone. Where did he go, by the way, mistress? I was never told. I know he is alive. I know my blood would ring if a final death overtook him. But where did he run to?
He is currently... Last record we had of him was a brief missive. Checking on your progression, actually. Well, he was in Europe.
My mistress, that is a fine joke.
We suspect there were ulterior motives, of course. He was not seen to be the one so inclined to caring, but nevertheless, Europe is quite definitely where we had last record of him.
Well, very well.
As for where he went originally, mind you, I haven't the slightest.
Anywhere away from the city is away, I suppose.
He was quite befit of
Did you
paranoia.
have permission? Yes, that does sound like him. But yes. Now that he is gone and I can learn on my own behalf, well, this is a conversation we should have in a private room, mistress, before we continue.
Very well. We have a scant 30 or so minutes, I would say, before I must see to someone who has beholden to my time, and I would not do to spurn them out of simple necessity.
Forgive me, mistress. 'Tis simply that the explanation would reveal the truth to any prying ears.
Of course. Follow me then, and she will lead you onwards into a familiar room that, despite the absence of such things, continues to smell of cigarette smoke. The fancy, well-appointed room of the former prince, or current but now sleeping prince.
Oh, mistress. You know my bloodline, I am of a Kaibit.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows are my dominion. I can call and control her, and... well, 'tis of the same sort that our enemy are made. The flesh they take, that is but a prison and an armor for them, something to get a false appreciation for the life that they left behind and they now seek. But it does not hold them proper. Those that are weak, they may be torn out by shadows, and then those same weak ones, they without their armor, without their prisons, they can do nothing. They are unused to living naked. The one that struck Zaire down, I suspect, might have been too strong for such a simple trap, but the one that I drew in and destroyed... yes, that one. That one was too weak to act without its flesh.
Very interesting. It adds a great deal more insight onto the whole situation in and of itself. I must confess, our knights have dealt with a great number of straggling strix, and for all intents and purposes they seem to avoid being gathered in one place.
Yes.
And yet
the
there
only way
must
they
be a
will
nest.
gather- Yes, there must be, but I suspect, mistress, if they think that their chances are good enough, not to destroy us, but to take us over, they might gather. But to do that would require either you to expose yourself or the prince to awaken and he to do the same. That would be foolish, but oh so tempting. We would have it all done in a night one way or another, but no. Madness and defeat lies at root. I assure you, mistress, this may also be a concern of yours. I'm not mad.
I had not thought you
Not
mad. You
quite.
do seem rather accelerated, Mr. Lee.
There will come a time that you ask as to what happened, I'm certain, and that by the oath I have sworn to you to enter this covenant, you will know if I tell a lie. Shall we have that over and done with now, mistress, or shall we play a game first?
I do so dislike being forward, Timothy. It's so very droll. But you are right. Knowing when you lie does take a lot of the flavor from the hunt. Do tell, how then did you defeat this Strix? In more exacting terms, and what, pray tell, has happened to you?
As I said, the Strix, when they're deprived of their prison armor, they are weaker. This one I entrapped. Well, first, I laid myself bare. Honey attracting the bees and the insects. It's a nice fresh meal to one that did not quite understand what my flavor means. And it came forth. Oh, it came forth. But I expected it, and I knew when it first arrived. So that is why I was at Dante's, because that is where I have exercised my greatest power yet.
This made it a familiar sight, then, for your utilization of shadow power?
Yes. Yes. The shadows remembered me. They remembered my call. They remembered the power they exacted under my call.
Understood.
And they sought it again. So, it came to me. I called upon these shadows, and they were frightened of the Strix, mistress.
As one would
A
expect.
normal shadow, that is neither living nor dead. It is but a shadow, but it is still a thing.
Yes.
It fears the dead version of itself, because that's, well, everything fears death. So when the Strix came, my grasp was weaker, but I had them, and I pulled the Strix from its body. And then...
You feel the beast wash over you again, this time more thoroughly so.
And I pulled it piece from piece. I pulled her piece from piece. And devoured her. If you will have me up on the third tradition, mistress, do it now. Let us not waste time.
Timothy, please don't
By
jump
letter
ahead.
of the law, I am
Now then, let's explore this more seriously and slowly. I now see why your demeanor is so voraciously altered. I assume you will calm down, given some sleep. Regardless, allow me to take a proper look at you. Would you be willing to flex your muscles, so to speak? Your essence should not leak from this room, so there is no danger of undue attention being drawn.
I would not be happy to, but I will be willing, as I suspect I have little choice.
Yes, being unwilling to reveal the evidences of these events would be rather damning. So yeah, if you would like to, please just roll me blood potency plus shadow potency. It is essentially you just going and flexing your potency. A 1! Would you like to make this a dramatic failure, Timothy Lee? I will give you 4 beats.
See, I'm slightly worried these are 4 beats that I would be spending on my next character.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
In this case, no, Scout, I would rather not.
Damn. Alright then. The stakes are so high. Alright. So, you flex your muscles and it is apparently a very unfamiliar sensation to you to utilize this core of power. It almost feels like you're doing a shadow play, except it's like potential with nowhere to go. It's like trying to fill a cup that's already full to the brim with water and it just pools out of you instead. The bartender has been watching very closely, and you've been able to feel her beast practically breathing down your neck, its physical presence just resting over your shoulders and feeling for your every move. And she seems satisfied, essentially. At the very least, it doesn't appear that there's been any condensing or splitting of egos, so that is one concern alleviated. That said, I suspected you would be a little bit stronger than that.
Perhaps in a place more familiar, perhaps not under eyes unseen and eyes yet to be seen.
Very true. I could draw it out of you quite literally, however such an act would almost certainly be known outside of this room.
Probably best not. I'm still in your service after all. And having this as something of a surprise weapon may still be of use to you now.
Of course. You don't need to try and sell me on the potential. You are, as it is, still an agent here of this Elysium. And so long as you do not allow this power to not corrupt so much as undermine, I suppose. As long as these powers that you are accumulating do not undermine you, then all should be well. I must give you this warning. And I would like to think of it as a sincere, almost caring warning. As you are unfamiliar with the experience of diablerie, I would hope and likely expect, considering your age and the fact that I can feel no veins in your aura. The climb to insanity. Malkavianism is a very slow and steady one. It will strike you as quite the sudden jump. Imagine you've been climbing a hill for a very, very long time, but just before your last step you closed your eyes, and your hand reaches out and it grasps at nothing, and then you plunge and you fall. All of these egos you've been climbing up and on are suddenly next to you, and then they're above you and towering over you still as you continue to fall deeper into this hole. Timothy Lee, you are growing powerful very quickly, and that is something that pleases me. However, you are still very, very, very young. I would not recommend doing this again, but know that I cannot stop you.
I suspect there will come a time that I will not be able to stop myself, but I will do what I can to be slow. Already, I... Have you ever drowned, mistress?
An interesting question.
Because I remember drowning. I remember drowning again and again and again, throwing myself back into a river, trying to actually die. And I just can't. But I get all of the pain, all of the memories of drowning. And I remember that slowly turning from pain into hate for the one that made this happen.
I see. And you experience this now? This essence from this being?
Yes, mistress.
Interesting.
It may not be the owl itself that had these memories. It may be the one that it destroyed before, but I have these clear as day. And I do not know what to do with these thoughts, these memories.
If it weren't for the fact that doing so would reveal you to others as to what you've done, I would say that this is a very just genuinely interesting query. It raises a lot of questions that you might actually be capable of answering, knowing about them. No one knows interesting things about these Strix. We have coincidental evidence, and we have what is essentially just theory that hasn't been disproved yet, but we don't have any actual facts on the Strix and who they are and what they're supposed to be. If you do go crazy, do at least promise to write a nice book about it.
Oh, I might just do that anyway.
I'd rather not. I've seen some of your prose. It's quite atrocious.
Please. At least I'll get them out at a decent rate.
Try for autobiographical instead.
Very well.
And with
You
that,
understand now, of course, why I asked that we discuss this in private.
oh yes, of course, and also right now in your very uncomposed state, it would make us look both quite bad. I really very much do recommend you get some rest and pull your head in order. And as it were, I believe the Countess is waiting on you to go owl hunting.
Oh, do give me credit, mistress. I held myself together quite aptly before Lady Frost.
Very true.
It simply requires much more effort than I am comfortable with giving amongst those that, well, perhaps I do not trust, would know anyway. Before I depart, I request leave to feed upon one or two of the ghouls of Elysium. If the Countess does wish to drag us into hunting more Strix, I shall need my full potential.
Of course, take what you need. I suppose I should return back to my own business. There is a count. Fancies himself a relatively powerful individual, and he has some kind of political sway, but for the most part it is an infant mewling into an uncaring darkness. She seems really exhausted with the concept. As you walk out together, she, with a glance of her eyes, indicates a pale by even the corpse-like pallid vampiric standards of someone who is not blushed with life. Like, their hair is naturally just greasy and unkempt, and although their suit looks like it probably cost literal millions of dollars, judging by very fine jewelry studding gold threading, the buttons themselves seem to be pearled and everything, he's not a very attractive individual, and he seems relatively stuffy.
Should you wish, mistress, I might perhaps exercise one of my new abilities. Tell you what it is he is really after, not just what he says for the sake of politics.
I cannot help but be curious. Go ahead, Timothy.
Do you want to go to someone else? It's been with me for quite a while, and I need to go for a sec anyway.
Okay, sure, that's fine. I will be interested to see how badly you fucking whiff your shadow power. Can't wait for that. I'm so sad. I'm so sad that Mez did not take my 4B's dramatic failure.
Mers, if you're still here, I think you should have. I'm not sure Tim's gonna last all that long.
I'll level with you. His odds of survival would have gone would have gone down if he'd taken that dramatic failure. Yeah, he'd be more powerful as a trade-off, but then he would have to work very hard to climb out of that hole. But I won't tell you what happens because it's gonna be. I can't wait for him to eventually dramatic fail when he uses his shadow play and he's got potency in it. At some point, I'm going to enforce as well. It's not going to be, would you like to take dramatic failure? It will be, you are taking a dramatic failure. Enjoy your 2 beats, and now here's what happens.
taking away the player agency.
It would no. It would only be very, very situational. Trust me, I wouldn't do it any time, but I can't wait for it to be just the perfect fuck up.
I mean, you just gotta level penalties on rolls so that you put people in more of a place to get dramatic failures.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Of course.
I gotta figure out what kind of game I want to run too.
I'm excited to find out what it is.
I have enjoyed your ideas thus far.
But there have been so many of them, damn it!
Yeah, I have so many ideas and I don't know what I want to run.
Well,
the like hunter thing, like we're FBI agents, or the one where you're supernatural investigators, or the one where you're just a bunch of fucking friends.
Yeah.
I liked the It one, but yeah, let me know when you decide on one and count me in.
I would love to do like fucking From All Precincts X-Files instead. That seems like it'd be pretty fucking dope.
The like hunter one or the supernatural?
Either of them. I just love that angle of not knowing exactly what you're up against.
I mean, that would be in every fucking game.
Well, that's
World of Darkness.
That's very true.
If we ever get DCL back, we can bully him into being a Texas Ranger.
I want somebody to be a Canadian Mountie.
It would be a wolf-blooded Canadian Mountie. Awoo, eh?
No, moose-blooded.
Moose-blooded.
Weremoose.
They say in the full moon's light they turn into a weremoose. You can almost smell the maple.
It's not even tied to the moon. It's just whenever they see a Canadian flag.
Whenever they hear a hockey puck being slammed. You stay away from me, Stamcoast.
Wherever there is a hockey puck being callously thrown away. Wherever there is maple syrup being spilled, I will be there.
Hello?
Come back at a good time.
For I am Captain Canuck, savior of the Canadian people.
This is my familiar. This is my familiar.
Down, eh?
I'm the only man who will get you from A to B.
A to Z.
Z is correct anyway, so it's fine.
Nah, fuck you. It's Z.
Z.
Z is dumb.
No, it's great because it doesn't share the E sound.
That fits in more.
It doesn't fucking matter. Lots of fucking shitty wrong things are also in rhymes, like I before E except after C. That's some fucking horseshit.
The pronunciation of Z is the most out there letter except for W.
W can go fuck itself. It should have been called an UWA.
They aren't even U's, they're V's.
Exactly. It should have been called an UWA. Which was originally a concept sound for that letter.
It was actually pointed out to me a couple years back that apparently when I make a W, it's basically just the head of a pitchfork. I just make a U with a line in the middle. Anyways.
Now I'm trying to like analyze how I draw or write things. Weird.
Well, it got pointed out to me like 3 years ago.
And now you're like, can't unsee.
Yeah, doesn't mean I'm going to stop, but still.
Oh well.
I think I want to do the It one.
The It one sounded like a lot of fun.
I can't remember the details of the It one.
Where you play as 5 friends who came back.
Oh,
there's
right,
5
yes,
of us,
yes.
and then each of you is a different supernatural creature trying to protect the masquerade in your town.
In your own race.
Of your own racist masquerade. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to play as Dog the Bounty Hunter, the actual dog.
I don't know whether I want to like start as the kids and run through that, or just be like.
I think like the kids' first adventure, so you play as humans and then you get your template thrown on afterwards.
There is World of Darkness Innocence, which is specifically made for playing kids.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that would be interesting, like having a stat block before you throw a template on it, because a template can be applied post creation, and it's not that hard to do. I think that's a more interesting way to do things.
That'd be a lot of fun to play.
It's like,
But
I have this
I
character,
don't-
and then they get this thing on it.
I don't want anybody to disclose what kind of supernatural thing they're gonna be.
Ah, even better. Even to you?
You know, well, obviously to me.
Yeah, there you
but
go.
not to each other.
All
Maybe
right.
even reward experience for people who figure what other people out.
Oh, that's even better.
Other people
What
out.
happens if people double down, though?
What do you mean?
As in, like, if two people wanted to play, say, vampires, would you just, like, secretly message them saying, no, that was already taken?
Or just let them figure it out on their own that the other person's a vampire.
How about putting essentially just on it like a splat tick box, and then it's like splats would just start disappearing off of it, and just, you know, make sure that there are more options in there than 5 in the first place. Including, like, you could always go with splats with extra covenants as well. So it's like vampire this covenant, vampire that covenant, and then you like go down the splats and do them list by list, so that no doubling down can happen, but it's anonymous who ends up with what.
Maybe.
Like that might just
It'll
be the better idea.
Bear investigation.
Is that the squadron name? Bear Investigation Services. Investigate the shit out of your goddamn bears.
Bear the bounty hunter.
Do you know what this is? It is dog mace. This is the mace they use on dogs.
And then everyone is Mogar.
Yep.
I mean, the hunter one I wanted to run, where like you're like hunter FBI agents. That would probably go with you slope like one by one. You start turning into various supernatural things.
Oh, you just your exposure to the weird.
Because you're a fucking hunter.
Nice. I also like that.
That might have been like semi-random too.
No, you just have the net librum of fucking
Like you
the
piss
metamorphica.
off you piss off a vampire in like an investigation. Maybe that vampire turns you.
Or just better yet, he just fucking drugs you. He ghouls you, and then you're an investigator who's jonesing for the fix.
With both of those ideas, that throws Promethean out the window. And Mummy.
Mummy.
Maybe you're a Promethean who.
Dude, Mummy would be a fucking challenger.
Oh, Mummy is just fuck that. That is like you run a Mummy game.
I see.
But Promethean, you could be like somebody resurrected, like using the body as a Promethean and trying to like figure out who was this person? Who am I?
You have become Arnold
Who did I
Schwarzenegger.
used
He
to
made
be?
it to the end table.
Yes, Mercendi?
Oh, that's right. Now isn't the
Yeah,
time.
I'm sorry. you went AFK, so I brought it up.
Yeah, my bad.
I thought I was gonna move on to like more in-character stuff with someone.
I know. Originally I was going to, and that didn't happen.
She probably would have, and then I started talking about it. So I'm
And
sorry.
I'm just losing my
All
voice
my
anyway,
fault,
so.
all my fault.
So good.
I knew that's what Mercendi wanted to say. Fucking knew it.
Sorry. Should probably see what Joseph Anna's up to.
Personally, I like to just jump ahead to you all being in one place, because it's getting
That's good,
challenging.
too.
It's getting challenging, so I would actually just like to get Timothy's bit done so that I can just be like, you're all here now! Hooray! So, Timothy, roll your shadow power.
Hold on. First I have to fluff it, don't I?
Yep.
Yeah. I would like the bartender to tell me this man's name and where he comes from.
His name is Jerome. Jerome Deschalais. Like, it's the douchiest name. And he comes from Denver.
Colorado. Oh man, Jerome Deschalais from Colorado. He got picked on.
No, he was in Boulder. It was okay. Everyone was a fucking hippie.
Wait, I thought you said he was from Denver.
Boulder is in Denver, Colorado.
Oh,
Boulder's its own
it's
city.
one of
Oh.
the suburbs of it, sort of.
Alright,
Boulder's in Colorado.
right. Oh, you're right. Yeah, they're not. Fucking, I don't know your American places. Sorry, still Denver then. Whatever, he got picked on. And then he became a vampire and killed all of them. Now he's a count. Because he says he's a count. And that's how it works for him.
So, yeah. Tim will approach and, lurk somewhat. But in the sort of Invictus way that is, I would like to speak to you. But I'm not going to initiate that because I'm technically of a lower rank. So you have to.
Wait, what, sorry?
Tim is going to approach the group that Count Deschanel is in and lurk in such a way that says, I want to speak to you, but because I'm of a lower social rank, I can't interrupt you.
Oh, he is not in a group currently. He's been stood off to the side, looking pouty and lame and pasty. So you're able to literally approach him, and the moment that you're close enough, he tries to make it look like he doesn't, give a shit at all. But he will invite you into conversation. It's hard for him to hide that he is gratified that someone's minion is giving him the proper attention. There are so many elders packed into the Elysium currently that it's just like it's a free for all if you want to get social interaction.
My Lord Deschanel, it's a pleasure for us to see you here with us.
Yes, I suppose it is. And who might you be? You're one of the up-and-comings around here, yes?
I am but the left hand of the Lady Regent.
Why, how very interesting. That's right, I saw you leave with her just a moment ago. He says that's right in that realization sense, but there's no way he missed you two leaving. He was waiting on talking to her in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And you were with the Lady Frost before that, yes?
Indeed, my lord.
Well, very, very delightful and interesting. What is it that I can do for you? Or more specifically, what have you come to do for me? And he'll give you a grin.
I have come to tell you a story, my lord. One of long ago, but still, I think, one relevant today.
Very well, do continue with your story. Although I at the time a measures older than you. It might be a story I've heard before.
Perhaps. Indeed, I might count on it.
But
There
Tish.
once was a man from the mountains who looked about himself, and he saw that his mountains were not enough. He saw the mountains owned by other men, and he sought to take them. And when he took those mountains, he looked west, and he saw the mountains owned by the Mountain King. And the Mountain King was wrathful, for he had taken the mountains without permission, but the man did his duties. He made his mountains fitting, as all of the lords before him had done, and he satisfied the Mountain King as such. And the Mountain King looked across his realm, so the Mountain King commanded all mountains, and he gave a command, and the man obeyed the command, but in a way that... And Tim is just going to continue in a way that makes this seem like a sort of weird fairy story, but twisting it dependent on Lord Deschanel's reaction as both physical and those that Tim can sense with his new abilities. And
I see. So you're sort of carrot and sticking him along with just trying to tell him a tale, spin him a yarn.
Yes.
Okay then. All right. What dice would you like to use then?
Wits, as I am
Yep.
coming up the fairy story on the spot.
I would say yes.
And let's see, it's a finesse and a resistance, yeah.
I believe so.
I think I would like to use my own composure for this, to try to, you know, make it slightly less obvious that I am basically telling him the story of his own life.
Yeah, I like that all of your resistance stats are 2 dots. It's like I use my stamina to bully through how much I'm boring myself as I tell him this fucking story. All right.
What's his resistance? That'll be my negative modifier, won't it? Well, actually, it's his composure, isn't it?
Yes. Also, you get a +1 for that. No, vet +2. You are getting 1 for just being around Invictus people. That's how you roll. And also 1 for being a writer already. This is making up a story is generally what you used to do.
Yeah.
So go ahead and take away. His composure is actually one of his lowest. 2. So essentially, you just get to roll your stats plus shadow. He has no defense.
Oh, this includes shadow?
I believe shadow potency is your modifier. Is one of your modifiers in this. It's shadow power.
I don't have it noted down as one.
Oh, then you can choose to use it or not.
And I'm not going to, yeah.
Okie dokie. Oh, I bet you wish you did.
Accurate.
Yay! And another dice, just for the sake of... Alright, cool. So
6 successes.
you come out of this with 6 successes. Alright then. Now I need to check the exacts of this book and give you as much information as I can because you fucking nailed him. Oh, that's work folders. Oh god, help. I have work folders all over this bitch. Alright. So it's all their aspirations from longest to shortest. And let's see here. I'm also going to let you know how well progressed he is in all of them. His longest term aspiration is to be in charge of Denver's equivalent, Elysium. Like, that's his largest aspiration, and from there you can see all of his other ones sort of branching downwards as though it branches off of a tree. Like, his whole core is devoted to this idea of he wants to be the one in charge. And he wants to be the one in charge because he used to get so much shit from a lot of people, so he had to gain this affectation. And not even the embrace of night has made him, like, a cooler person in his, like, you know, since the 30s when that happened. He's recently made an elder, so he's still quite middling in power as far as all are concerned. He is after the support of the Elysium here as one of the largest population ones with the largest amount of, you know, movers and shakers. He is looking to create contacts, not directly with the Invictus themselves, but he has heard that there is quite an interesting group of crones around here, and having a bunch of them fucking around in Denver would create a problem that he gets to solve. He wants to be able to solve a crone problem. That's his shortest term one. So you would estimate that he wants to gain contacts, make trouble in his hometown, solve that trouble, become in charge.
Okay. And Tim will finish his fairy story with,
He actually seemed moderately enthralled by it.
Yeah. He'll finish it with the man not becoming the Mountain King, but living happily forever after on his mountain.
Interesting. Okay. He wants to be the Prince of Denver. Yes, essentially.
Head back over to the bartender.
Alright. Interesting. I swear I saw something while you were talking with him.
Well, 'tis a new power indeed, mistress. So long as I did not grow wings in sight of every member of our covenant.
No, I looked for physical and obvious signs. As I saw, there was a flicker of something, and I would have missed it had I not been looking specifically for it. Be careful, there is some kind of tell, but I did not succeed in my off-screen roles good enough to see them myself.
Well, if anyone would know me well enough to see them, I suspect it would be you. Another would have to be fortunate in the extreme, or already know what signs to look for.
All too true.
Should I be called out, mistress? Well, now you know that whoever does that calling is most likely guilty of the same.
If not the
Now-
same, they would at least have some kind of in on the situation, true.
Indeed. Now, Count de Chalais, he wishes to be no count. He wishes to be the Prince of Denver.
How very humorous.
He has a plan to do it as well. Well, I would expect it to fail. With fortune and support, it would succeed. It depends. Do we want to see a regime changer or not? His plan, however you choose to act on it, he wishes to make alliances with the Circle of the Crone, gather a large coterie of them, and bring them back to Denver. Not his. No, not his at all, but bring them there and have them act in opposition to the regime of the city. Once they have done their damage, in his mind, they will... Well, he, having brought them there, will be able to undermine them, have more arrested or slain or exiled, and then, being the hero of Denver, in the aftermath of whatever power vacuum a circle created, he will take leadership.
Why, that's delightfully entertaining. I believe I'll have to do this. This is the most interesting little bit of domineering that I've got to do in a while. Most people are so boring, and I suspected him of the same. Thank you very much, Timothy. You've made my night. I'm going to see about both getting rid of some of our crones and watching Denver, I suppose. Have you ever been there? It's a very strange place.
No, mistress.
You're
I've
not
been
missing
east
much.
of the Atlantic, but never as far as Denver.
Well, it might very well be. It will be worth visiting in perhaps a year or so's time. I think I will try to support him in these endeavours. It alleviates some of their weight on us, and should do interesting things for his own in turn. Her smile is almost just, it's fucking bordering on menacing. Like, you've seen this. She is about to probably master stroke the shit out of this guy.
Before you depart, mistress,
Yes, Timothy.
I do have one request. When the prince awakens, I wish to be considered, to be permitted to swear the oath of knighthood.
Considering the directions your growth and power have been taking, I will make the recommendation to him. Continue to do a good job up to that point, and all you will be doing is improving your odds of knighthood. As it stands, I think you've done me a great service today, and if it is a repeatable service, then it may very well improve your standing. And she will give you that same wicked, I've got plans in the works grin for, like, just fucking masterfully, like, her face slips into, I'm so bored of this is just business, off to go and do my thing, and she will, although, you know, like, there is still, like, a glint of amusement and humour in her eyes, she does the, you're boring me now, be gone, wave with her hands. Probably for the show of it, but you're welcome to ghoul up. I will allow you 6 vitae off of the Elysium's fresher ghouls, some of them have already been drunk from. They're like,
That's
you
good.
see them, they've been tapped. Like a lot of them have been tapped. Like 3 of them who have just been chowing down on like iron tablets and steak are like, like ready to go. There are a few that are just blasted, absolutely blasted.
Being able to get 6 vitae means I now have 6 vitae.
Very good. Jesus.
Were you at 0?
That ambition's source power took my very last.
Oh, you
I-
should have been making like hunger checks.
I started the session at 4. Then I spent 3 to regain willpower, and then I spent 1 on that. So yeah, I was already in the middle of this, and I had plans to assuage hunger, specifically by asking.
Yeah, he asked before doing this test in the first place, so you don't have to make. I didn't enforce a check on him. In the future, though, if you do hit 0 in the middle of a something, I will have to ask because it will relate to negative modifiers.
But you have to, avoid hunger frenzy. Just biting at whoever you can to feed.
Yeah. In this case, Timothy was like, "There's a meal waiting for me in a few moments," and then used the last drop with that knowledge, and then went off to go nom. So that's fine. In fact, actually, I will have to make you do a check though because you are starving when you get to these ghouls. I hadn't realized you were actually completely at 0. Can you give me pick a resistance? It'll be your will. Negative your blood potency.
So, sorry, what am I rolling?
Stats to resist going a little bit apeshit when you feed on this ghoul minus your blood potency.
Yeah, but, like, what are my main stats before my
She
blood
said,
potency?
resistance. So
Resistance
resolve,
is,
stamina, or composure.
Yeah.
Just one of those.
Usually. Do you have anything to help you not be hungry?
The thing is, because I have PP2, that means I'm rolling a chance die.
The standard to resist the beast is resolve and composure.
Alright, I'll let you have both then. Okay, you can have both. It is -2 for your blood potency.
Success.
Alright, that's fine. Yeah, you get 6 vitae and you don't like fucking ice one of these ghouls. Meals on heels. Oh, that's good. That's real good. That's fucking fantastic.
After that, Uber up to full sail. Sorry, but again, my bit has been so long.
You suck. No, I'm kidding.
I think you get away with it if it's an interesting time, and it was, so hooray.
It was good.
Now you're all in one place, whoa, fuck yeah. Timothy, you are joined by the Countess. She will have one of her handmaidens drive the 2 of you up there. Kara, Joseph, there is, like, essentially a coffee stand place, like, right next to the visitor center for full sail, and you see the vampires arrive.
It's a tight bloody time.
I look very fancy and I don't smell like a vampire anymore.
Yep.
I am immediately suspicious.
Yeah, you see Claire is in like a fucking elegant like black dress event. Like she was off dancing. She smells like alcohol, cigars, and like people dancing. Like she's a bouquet of like having a nice time amongst like rich people and fine dining and all that shit.
I'm gonna take my free essence for it being a half moon.
Yep.
I'm gonna use Nose by Prey on her.
Alright. Give it a go.
I need to learn things about this.
Yeah,
Vampire
like as far as
smell
you
like a vampire.
as far as you know, you're just looking at a human. It's quite incredible.
Ah!
Oh, you nearly got a great.
Should I? No, I don't have enough willpower.
All right then. What does 4 successes get you for this?
That. I think I just learned the typical like name and no die.
No die bray.
Without an exceptional success, all I learn is the name, any name that they've gone by, alternate identity, fame, merits, allies, contacts, retainers, resources, staff, and status merits.
So broken.
That is incredible. Like against other players. You know what? With 4 successes, since it's being used in a sort of PvP-ish sense, I will let you ask 4 of those. Like 4 questions out of that selection of things. Because otherwise, that is like it's so much to learn about a player. Like holy
I was hoping
shit.
to get the 5 so I could get a piece of valuable information on her.
Yeah, no, you'll just have to ask stuff, and she'll tell you stuff.
I want to make sure that this is clear. So, the names that they've gone by.
So you know of Claire Rosencourt, Professor Rosencourt, and Professor Claire Rosencourt, and probably some variations with her middle name in it. Any nicknames that you might have gone by in the past?
I mean, first of all, her the name she's going by now, the last name isn't true.
So I get to know your real name.
The last name, anyways. Claire Brennan.
Brennan. Did your first name used to be Temperance?
Nope, but I understood the reference.
Hooray! References!
Alternate identity? Well, that counts
That
as
is,
alternate.
yeah, that is an alternate identity. Alright.
Any fame?
Wait, what does that mean? Like,
Okay,
fame as in...
any status merits?
Oh,
There we go.
would you even know what it would mean if I were to tell you?
Probably
Or your
not.
character would.
Kara would not know what a bunch of the status means.
I might not know what it means, but the spirits will be like, yeah, she's part of getting.
The spirits would tell you that she's a scholar of the dragons.
So you hear that she's a something that sounds fucking dope as shit.
Resources.
Like, they'd probably tell you dedicated scholar of transcendence, sworn of dying light.
You realize that vampires have really, really awesome sounding titles.
So status merit in order to. Okay. Resources merit?
Oh, yeah. 3 dots. I don't know, that would tell you. Decently off.
It's pretty reasonable. You know that she probably has a place that she lives and vehicles and access to 3 resource dots worth of money. So, yeah, you know that she's doing quite well for herself.
Allies.
How does that work? Do you just know names?
I think it's rules is written. It's like any specifically like the allies merit.
Yeah, if you have a merit that says ally something something. So no, you don't have any.
If you took someone as an ally as a merit.
No, I have different things that give me that the similar things, but no, I don't have the ally merit.
There you
I'm watching you, Claire Brennan.
Do you say that out loud?
No,
that's a fucking dick move right there.
It's not in an accent, so I didn't say it.
Touche. Oh, I nearly played the accent game with you just then as punishment.
You can't do the accent game.
We know what happens if I get involved. You will lose the ability to use that accent temporarily, so let's not.
Not the Irish one.
No, I'm pretty sure you will not be able to do one or the other if I set you off properly.
Nope, not the Irish one. Irish one I can always do.
This has been a thing for like 8 months. It finally came to pass. Yeah, the Antoinette changed her last name.
Mm.
so that she'd be harder to find. Claire got to keep her first name though. Actually, probably should have told Scout about that for Cassandra.
I feel like you should have, because then you wouldn't have been looking for a sister with Rosencourt as their surname. It would have been Brennan.
Yeah, well,
I think
the thing is,
Claire
Claire
would have known.
that.
Yes, no, Claire would have known. I don't
Claire will.
think her surname came up anywhere. It might have been like a letterbox stuff that might have been a bit of a cheeky reveal otherwise, but whatever. So yeah, you now know some stuff. She's definitely the same person you've seen before, Kara. She has some dope-ass titles. No one's officially her ally. She's quite well off for herself. Her actual surname would appear to be Brennan as opposed to Rosencourt, which you were introduced by, although you know that she's gone by the names, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
And yeah, she smells and looks and feels and breathes like a regular ass goddamned person. And because she of the type of covenant she's in, she stays like that for the full 24 hours.
Vampires are weird.
She also looks fucking stunning, you know, beautiful redhead in like a slit-legged fancy ball dress that was picked out for her by someone with an incredibly good taste in clothing, as opposed to usual
I can't
professor
tell.
wear.
I can't tell. Did you say that out loud?
Yeah.
I have acute sentences. I heard that. Yeah, well, wolves are strange as well.
That'll show her. Sing.
I mean, at least we don't show up to a hunt and whatever that is.
I had a prior engagement.
You not keep a spare change of clothes in your car?
It was not brought in my car. She just like waves her hand at the taxi.
Audibly tisks.
Wills don't get it. Why would anyone? What do you do when you burst out of your clothes uncontrollably, super Incredible Hulk style, huh? How do you do it?
I mean, yeah, it's one shredded dress. You know how much money that is?
I mean, I assume we're having the same conversation that Claire had with Zaire like 5 months ago.
This is just how people dress. But then again, Zaire always wore a suit, and you can't say no to a suit.
Well, it wasn't just that. Zaire was like, "You didn't show up with this, that. Why is your car not armored?"
Mm.
I just like we're hunting something and show up in a dress. That's all. That just makes sense.
I am a professor.
But you know, pants, sneakers, something you can run in.
I assure you, when pressed, I can run quite fast, but I generally leave the fighting to other people.
Whatever you say. I'm not even talking about fighting. It's got to be constricting.
Yeah.
Shrug.
So yeah, Joseph is also there, and you were probably waiting there with Kara roughly around the first time. You saw Claire very briefly before. First as a smudge through your like drone screen, and then like a quick wave before you just departed out the front, and they continued on their little hunt thing. You're pretty sure that she was a vampire at the time, but this, for all intents and purposes, seems to be a human. A very, very attractive one at that.
Is whatever can still here?
I don't know.
Last message from him is that he was back about 40 minutes ago.
He's here.
Oh no, there he is.
He just said thing.
He did a sad face.
Bye.
You're still muted. Or are you unavailable currently?
When the session started, so said he was feeling kind of bad. So
Ah. Ah, right. Okay.
Gotcha.
Feel free to type up anything that comes up then, but we'll continue onwards then. If it's like an amplified version of the Borkening.
You want the porkening?
No, that's not what I don't. It's not what I want. No.
I heard the porkening.
Yeah, I know. I know what you had. I'm surprised that honestly the moment you said Borking didn't just summon them. Just like a wall of Roo-Roo-Roos.
Despite the fact that they get into their howls every once in a while, they are typically pretty quiet.
Weren't you at one point training them to be noisy? I remember you trying to be
Yeah.
like, alright, now make just noise at this.
I remember
But
that.
that's the point. Like, I can get them to like bark on, cue, but they don't typically do it unless somebody walks by the house.
Alright. People!
So,
I smell people.
Was Joseph standing with
With
Kara.
Kara.
Or no?
Probably. I would say.
They would have arrived at roughly the same time.
Did I ever actually see this person?
Very, very briefly. You saw his drones, and then after he did the firebombing, he left the bathroom that he was in, basically gave like a hi and a bye to the lot of you, and then peaced out. So you saw him very briefly.
So, Kara, I assume this is our new friend from the raid?
Oh yeah, this is Joseph.
Do you intend on following us on this hunt?
Well, I said I would.
Not you.
This isn't just a. Oh. He's here, isn't he?
Hmm. If so, I would like a reaffirmation of the sorcery that you did earlier.
Because that worked out so well last time.
It did. We knew that someone
It's-
betrayed us, so we could hunt him down.
That's true. That's true.
Form another pact.
Yep, and then like arriving not massively long afterwards is the Countess and Timmy. Oh look, it's another werewolf. Hi there. And she'll wave. She's wearing another like adorable ensemble, although has gone to the trouble of applying some measure of makeup as well. And let's see here. She has a weapon thing. I never picked what weapon she knew to use. She even has one of those like the
Chain
fucking, you know, the fancy dots merits. It's like I can do weird things with this weapon. She had one of them, and I cannot fucking remember what it was meant to be.
A tiny little girl, probably just like a knife.
It honestly probably is. Let's see.
It could really be anything. It would just be scaled down for her.
Yeah, I mean the reality she is.
Versions of a sword, and it's still more useful than a knife.
Yeah, she's also like thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, so she's probably got a more like time zone appropriate weapon that she knows to use, and has probably a modernized version of it. Let's see here.
Knives are always appropriate.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
the age.
I mean,
Knives,
that's
axes,
true.
clubs, dependent
That's-
on when she actually went to sleep. It could be a lot of things.
That's true even for Herrera. When I was actually going to play her, she had a lot of melee things, and she used the Egyptian sword.
Kobesh.
Kobesh, there we go.
I love those swords.
They're really
Those are
cool.
hacking weapons.
Even
She
though
has
they're
a
really much more of an axe than a sword.
she has a sickle. Like, you know, the top of, like, the wide wheat sickle, like, one-handed. She's obviously not walking around Grim Reaper style.
The hand sickle, gotcha.
Yep. She has a hand sickle and seems quite competent with it. It looks new, so she's obviously had it made of, like, you know, modern metals as opposed to whatever the fuck she used to use. But it isn't enchanted or anything super special like that. But presumably it's going to be fucking violent in her hands.
Countess, Timothy, glad you joined us.
Claire. Kara. And
Righty ho.
we have been introduced.
It was the werewolf with the phosphorus drones.
I remember his face. He looked quite surprised when I burst into his bathroom, but
This
I
here's
have not the
Joseph.
pleasure of your name. Ah, Joseph.
He doesn't talk much.
I'm glad to make your acquaintance, Joseph.
And Joseph is happy to meet you. Oh my god, I rolled a 20 when I did that. You're all fucking dead as shit, let's face it. I straight up rolled a 20 when I did that. I'm keeping that. I'm remembering you, Dicey. You stay right
Rolling
there.
a 20 in a World of Darkness game.
Well, rolling a 20 while
What
doing
kind of heresy is that?
rolling a 20 while doing a Gygax impression, as if I would dare roll percentiles in that great man's honor. You can go fuck yourself.
I'll give you that. Hmm.
In any event, I had just suggested we reaffirmed the werewolf sorceress pact with him involved. After all, someone who can just wantonly kill an elder with a push of a button.
Sorcerer's Pact. Never been called a sorcerer before.
You have better access to sorcerer's powers than we do.
Well, they're just gifts.
Spiritual powers are not sorcerers, Claire.
They are within the same kind of bracket. Whether you borrow the power of another, or you're using natural energies of the world, or you had a very interesting dream and then woke up, it's all still sorcery.
Well,
If
That's
we
just
use
a
your
gift
definition
for
very
the-
well.
In the loosest definition of the word, it is all sorcery.
It is all heresy.
I mean, you being a
Try not
vampire
to-
is pure sorcery, then.
Try not to be too pedantic.
Says the pedant.
Says the professor.
I suspect it is not a matter of pedantry so much as a matter of the spirits will answer if they are called properly and not if they are called improperly. Indeed, if they are called improperly, they might be put to fear and flee.
Yeah, actually, speaking of, Kara, when you draw on the spirits, like, there's a lot of mysterious sniffing in Timothy's direction. Just on the off chance you don't know what that means, but they're paying him more attention.
Hmm. Interesting.
Pay me no attention. I am so human.
Well,
I am vampire like you.
I don't have too much cause to be suspicious now. Not like the vampire smelled like human. So
Yeah.
we'll hold off. I'm not sure if I
If-
used Know Thy Prey on Timothy before.
You haven't, actually. That's quite funny.
I just used it on the Countess, I think.
You did. And you learned about her handmaidens. They are assets and allies.
We'll hold off on that for now, as much as I want to metagame it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Although I will say you could probably roll Wit's Composure on Timmy.
That was more what I was getting at.
Just because the change in, like, purely OC, the change in my humanity would actually have some slight visible effects now. I look more dead.
Ooh, sniff, sniff.
Of course, you are stood next to someone who seems completely alive, so maybe those two concepts are mildly at odds.
I think with 3 successes, Kara would be able to tell Tim's skin. While previously it looked pale, now it looks grey. Like it had, not just like it's been dead, but like it's been dead for a time and has faded.
Squint.
I look completely human, and on top of that, I gained a dot of humanity.
Yep, she's sucked the. Takara's probably looks like, alright, one of them looks deader and one of them looks liver. What the fuck? What did they do to each other?
This one's sapping the life force from the other.
You can see those innocent professor eyes.
Kill the one that looks more alive. She's killing the other one. We must save them.
Hey, you would know if I was killing him because we're still part of that pact.
No, we aren't yet.
Are we
The-
You're part of the
still
original one.
I got
It was
broken.
already.
Oh right, if it gets broken, then that's also it doesn't withhold with the others.
I'm pretty sure, like, it gets broken. It's broken.
Oh fuck! All right, so yeah, it needs to be
Yeah.
reaffirmed completely.
Yep. So, Claire suggested starting a new oath. So, do we all swear not to bring harm to one another?
Not to bring harm or willingly betray.
Harm knowingly or unknowingly.
Unknowingly seems like a broader thing. What if
Un-
one of us just...
Unknowingly is part of the oath.
It seems a part almost impossible to keep. We might, for instance, purely by accident, or indeed purely by chance, even have something drop out of our pockets and then have a catastrophe wrought by that.
Accidents happen. I'm sure they can tell the spirits. And Countess will speak up. Also, I'm going to put it out here. If you guys don't swear this oath, I'm going to ice all of you because I've been betrayed already. And she'll give you a big old smile.
Also,
Indeed, Milady Evelina, hence why I think you might be the one best suited to dictate the terms of this oath.
No, I mean, this is how oaths work. I'm fine with... She's the one who has to actually enforce it. I don't have a say on spirits. Just know that, you know, I'll fucking kill the lot of you if you mess this up for a second time in a row.
Should never have trusted a firebrand.
so we won't cause each other harm or betray each other, at least until this whole Strix hunt is done.
While the wild owls still live, yes.
Agreed.
That's why they still hold sway over the city. I mean, don't want to have to hunt them all down throughout the world.
Fair.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and our interests are not necessarily antithetical to each other. I would hope that when we're done, we can just part ways.
Exactly.
Sudden but inevitable betrayal is boring, and I have no problem with the existence of werewolves.
She makes finger guns at you when you say that.
All right. Well,
Stick it.
as the lady did before, do we need to spend a point of, we call it the vitae, but essence to make the pact stronger?
Don't think so.
I can do that, I suppose, and this time enforce a little rule of my own. So if you guys, you know, mess with me, it will really, really ruin your day.
I agree to this pact, Timothy.
Yes. I agree. I shall not betray. Timothy Lee, shall not betray any of you so long as these wild Strix remain within the bounds of San Pasado.
I see what you did there.
You let the GM put an extra noose on you. This delights me. The Countess will spend a point of her vitae, and the spirits resoundingly sing as a one, and you hear it in your ears, Kara. It doesn't look like the same thing as when Essence is given up. It's sort of more like just the ambient life of the place momentarily blooms and then dissipates.
Before that, does Joseph agree? Because Claire will refuse to work with them unless everyone agrees to this pact.
Presumably.
So-
Whatever, Kun. Do you agree to the oath of do no harm, wittingly or unwittingly, to your companions under pain of whatever the fuck happens to you?
Mr. Phosphorus drones.
They're probably the most spooked of you.
I mean, the good news is like it actively levels a penalty against actions that would knowingly or unknowingly break the oath. So I mean, you're less likely to accidentally blow somebody up with a drone.
Huh, and since I
If
put
you
extra
if
vitae
you
into
have
this.
to roll it.
Oh, goody. I get to put extra, and since she's done a thing, that means I get to put extra no-no dice in when you do that. Even better.
So, do I get any bonus for rolling this?
Pardon, sorry?
With the vitae spent?
Yes. Add 3 to your dice roll.
Ooh.
Claire was willing to spend vitae as well.
Only the Countess could... I don't think you have any of the necessary sorcery, essentially, to invest in this oath. She has an oath equivalent of in power in her own thing, so I'm just essentially adding her dice to it.
Oh, I gotcha.
Okay.
Did Marsland say something?
No. Scout's just wants to stray was more than adequate.
Cool.
I think Joseph will agree.
All right, let's just assume he
Whatever
agrees.
comes in AFK or distracted. But
He's distracted by stuff, right? Oh, there's typing.
so tap typing.
Agreement!
Agreements.
Hooray!
Agreement 9 or 11.
Agreement denied? Oh no!
No,
It's
11.
11. Yes. You've got
One
your
G.
eyes and your X in the wrong places. Alright, Joseph Hanna also agrees, and the oath is laid in place, and that's a critical success.
That means I become immediately aware of when the oath is broken and by which party. I didn't
Yikes.
have this when the other vampire broke it, and I was like, "Who the fuck broke the thing?"
Well, it was really easy to figure out.
It
'Cause we were all
was.
sitting there.
It was process of elimination, but
Oh, elimination, too soon.
now I know specifically.
Yep. It was very strange. You've probably never seen someone spend vitae in a way that, like, quite literally makes the spirits all go woo-loo-loo-loo. But they were all momentarily excited and then bored again because it wasn't, like, essence being doled out. They thought it was for a brief moment.
I mean, I spend an essence to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they get some from you, but she just let loose essentially a blast of something. And they were like, more food? Oh, no extra food. Boo. But for that brief moment, apparently, it was all it took for you to seal the deal, as it were, and the oath is now bound and in place.
The oath is broken. What time to take a beat?
Yep, that's how Invictus oaths work, which I know is what Scow was basing the Countess's oath from.
Yep.
Like the oath's regnant takes either a lethal or, in the extreme cases, an aggravated damage, and that is how they are informed that they're broken.
Crazy.
Yep. So
Yeah.
if someone tries to betray it, and I mean, you got a crit success, I'm probably going to be like, you've betrayed the Countess, she was ready for this a second time, you take aggravated damage. The noose is so much tighter around you now. Delightful.
Almost as tight as the noose around Zair's neck. When you killed him.
When you killed him. When you took him up for fag drag. Alright then. And so the question becomes now. We have to find the rest of these owls. A bunch of the knights of the Invictus here. The Countess will speak up and direct it to the two werewolves. They're like the enforcers and the fighty people. They have apparently done okay. Some of them have been totally and insurmountably destroyed, but for the most part they seem to have been successful in their fights against the owls, because they've been going in like 3-to-1 odds. I was kind of bored. I wanted to go earlier, but then I hung around because these guys are my escorts, and she'll wave at Timothy and Claire. I figure, we should probably go to where most of them were dying at once.
That sounds good. I've also got some feelers out myself.
Yeah?
Milady
Got those
Evelina.
surveillance spirits looking out for me.
Hmm.
Have to check in with them if we run into a dead end.
Yeah. And yes, Timothy?
We may wish to investigate the location of our very first encounter with the Strix. 'Twas where they were first seen in San Pasado, and the witnesses survived, after all. Whether they remain there or not, and indeed I doubt that they do, for the secrets of the Strix are ones that will be best kept on the move. We may still find a remnant of them.
Alright then.
As 'twas back in the day, the cigarette packets and the abandoned handkerchiefs of the Jacobins that bore their monograms, that told the good police of the king where they stood, where they were from, and who they must seek.
Of course. Okay. Alright then. The area where most knights have been struggling is... there. I should probably pick a colour that's in the train line, actually.
So right around where we first encountered them. Okay.
Right there. Well, I mean, it's also smack dab in the middle of, like, the shit show. But yes, it is. It is sharing a lot. That would be why you probably encountered them. Because the main point of operation is, like, in mobster land.
Once, whoever shows that, Tim will say. Yes. 'Twas just there, in the southwest corner of it, that we first met the Strix. I suggest we first stop in at the local police department. Inform them that they should stay home for the night. We do not want company or fuel for the enemy's side.
Did he not tell us not to visit him in person again?
He said to minimize it. We can call. Yes, a call would perhaps be better, but should we encounter the Strix, the encounter will be bloody and obvious. We do not want witnesses. If we have witnesses, they will have to be disposed of, and that will be a pain for everyone involved. By arranging that the police are not there, by one means or another, then we reduce the number of witnesses.
Alright. With that plan in mind, it's not hard for you to, like, pop a call to the Elysium, and that same sort of receptionist-y person who does a lot of that footwork for getting cleaners to do things and pulling up information on everyone who's being, like, bribed and all that shit. Like, we're calling him again? Alright, fine. And she will either, like, push you through to speak to him directly or just pass on the message herself, like, fucking stay out of this area, it's about to get heavy. And he'll just be like, alright, I'll make sure that all of them are busy elsewhere. Like, it is not a complicated thing for you to tell a chief of police. By the way, if your dudes come around here, they're going to die horribly in unimaginable ways, and you'll have a lot of families to talk to. He's gonna be like, fuck that! You deal with your crazy monster bullshit.
It might be something to grease the wheels to tell him that we tracked down the thing that murdered his men.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't need any greasing. He's more than happy to be like, I don't want any more of my men to die, and if you're saying that more crazy monster bullshit's going on over there, I'm gonna keep them away. You have my word on that.
Well, it's more like, something to throw him because he seemed really angry last time.
He was.
We tracked down the thing that killed your men.
Yep, he was angry and very cocained.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he appreciates
Claire
that
will
news.
just suggest it to Timothy. It's up to him if he wants to do that.
Yeah, Tim will pass on that suggestion to the Elysium controller and also a brief apology. If this could be avoided, it would be. Unfortunately, the situation of the day requires that this area be secured, and that area falls under his jurisdiction.
Understood. I mean, I don't envy that guy. We're pretty sure that we would have had to replace him already. He's done a surprisingly good job of not dying of some kind of horrible heart attack.
Yes. Still, replacements are in place.
I mean, we've got someone who's vaguely corrupt on the same level, but they're a little bit of a busybody. Preferably, we would like to keep that one alive until we've got one properly prepared.
He's going to turn out a suicide before the end of the year.
End of the year, that's a tough time scale. We'll see. We've got works in the way.
Do the best you can. If you can prove me wrong, that's a bonus for both of us.
Yeah, fair enough. She seems not entirely enthused with that concept of some kind of keep the chief of police in the area from some kind of cocaine-based heart attack, but she'll try. For all intents and purposes, you suspect that a replacement police supervisor isn't going to be as thoroughly blackmailed as this one is. Like, they take work to get set up properly. Because they don't like having ghouls specifically being members of the police, because that actually is a little bit adverse to the masquerade. Like, sure, they have ghouls everywhere and they have people under their payroll everywhere, but getting someone directly who will do all of their beck and call actually just looks dodgier.
Yeah. And when you stop giving us shit in the same area, then that'll be a thing.
That's fine. I just personally would be okay with him dying, and then also anytime you are back in that area, making your life really hard. It's almost like it's my secondary goal. Suffer.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was more just this is kind of how it works in this setting as well. Like, if important people die, then I'm not going to replace them with the ideal candidates. That guy started as an ideal candidate, and he still technically is, because he's totally blackmailable and wants you to kill those evil monsters. You send a monster to kill a monster.
And I do think the whole get the police to not show up there is probably actually extending his lifespan compared to him having to explain to hundreds of people, oh yeah, this is why everyone that we sent there died.
Yeah, no, yeah. In this case, he is, as I say, he does not need much persuading in order to be like, you guys have just got to go find other places to work at the moment. I know you had a case down at such and such, but I heard that there was totally this bad robbery going down in the skyrise, and they'd be like, bullshit, just go away. So yeah. There might be the odd policeman, but they wouldn't be there in an official capacity, so they might just disappear.
Alright, that call's made. We're going to have as much space from the police as they can reasonably give us.
I'm just going to move both your tokens down to there so that you can move into it. Because I apologize that it is a short session. I hope that you had yourselves an interesting time. I know I had a lot of fun setting you off against each other and exploring everyone's character a bit more.
No, yeah, totally understandable. Yeah, it was a fuck ton of fun.
Excellent. And now aspirations. So you get scored in. Yeah, it's okay, whatever, it happens. I just expect you to I expect you to go whole hog when it comes to Strix time. Kara. No points on anything right now. You gain your end of session beats.
Okay.
Miss Endy, finding a priest for St. Mary's Church. You can score that one in.
Oh, really?
Wait, no, sorry, you have to still actually meet them. Duh. It's still as it is with a plus. My bad.
Okay.
Yep. Wipe Sam Soda's free as it is.
I shouldn't have said
You shouldn't have
free.
been. You shouldn't. Yeah, no, I'm just tired and letting my brain slip out. And then afterwards, I'll be like, why did I let him score? That's too late. Wipe Sam Soda free, still as it is. Advance the Covenant's favor. Score it. And give yourself another point of Invictus status. That is 4 beats total for that, and then 2 for your end of session. That is 6.
Should I mark down an experience for the Invictus status, or is that a free?
That is a free point.
Damn,
Oh,
son.
sweet. Okay.
Yep, you gained Invictus status, and then that at the same time is what gave you the necessary scoring for that aspiration. So you just have, like, you know, the beats from that, and your stats has gone up. Congratulations.
Free stuff.
Yep, I mean, you are of all of the players, you are the Kindred who's thus far like done the most to put themselves first and foremost in the Covenant's eyes. You've not only advanced technically in Invictus's eyes, but
Whatever Kun did a lot.
yeah, no, okay, no, actually, yes, he was the fastest and highest riser, but you know, like the brightest candle burns quickest as well.
He advanced in a way that they could get rid of him. I'm really trying to advance in a way that I'm indispensable for the Covenant, and so any attempt to get rid of me will be a night war.
Yeah, no, you've done good things. You produced stuff for Queen Wizard, and she's all delighted about having new toys to play with and shinies to look at. You have revealed that you have a power that allows you to quite literally read elders. And I mean, that's probably going to come back to you in a way, because that's what was originally Big Swing and Dick status. At the same time, it's also what your, like, it's what the Kaibi used to be known for and are kind of still known for. I mean, they also used to be known as Shadow Warriors of the greatest wizardly arts, and that has only just revealed itself to be actually quite factual. So yeah, no, you have since the start of this game done the most Invictus related stuff. So I'm happy for you to score this and give you that free status. Like, this is 2 events happening side by side.
Oh, thank you.
Stray, Worm's Den, Find
Nothing.
Skilled Human, Discover. Nope. You get your end of session beats though. And Joseph, Connect, Surveil, Be Successful, Useful, none yet, but you get your end of session beats. And that's that. Is there anything that you would like to bring up, ask, etc., etc.?
No. Other than it was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Alright, glad you guys enjoyed.
Thanks for jamming today, Scout.
That's fine. I've got another 3,000 words to write, so I'll go do that.
Yeah. Here's hoping that for next session you're not under so much stress.
Oh, well, I will have finished wanting to be done one way or the other. Whether it's the result of more stress, I don't know. We'll find out. And if you're watching in the stream or you're watching on the VOD, then I hope you have yourselves a lovely motherfucking good time, and do take care.
Bye, stream.